Good evening and thanks for joining us for 23 ABC News at 6. I'm Bayan Wang. Tonight's top stories: hundreds of firefighters from across the nation along with community members uniting to celebrate the lives of two fallen Porterville firefighters, one of them a native in Delano. And growing concerns over whether or not the county elections office is ready for Super Tuesday. More on what officials are now admitting is missing from local voter guides. Allison.
And Kern County will be dry and warm tomorrow, but that's all changing on Sunday. I'll let you know just how cool we will be getting. I have more details on that when 23 ABC News at 6 starts right now.
Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. It's a story that 23 ABC started following very closely several weeks ago after we discovered there was missing information on the county's election website and voter guides had not been sent out. And now, just 4 days away from the primary, another discrepancy is coming to light from the elections department. Tonight, officials are admitting they left out key information in your voter guide regarding both Republican and Democratic candidates. Nearly 3 weeks ago, 23 ABC first reported issues with the county elections website not displaying any key information surrounding local ballot measures. After our story, 23 ABC News learned local voter guides and sample ballots were sent out. Today, the elections department announced those voter guides were sent out without party endorsements. This list of party endorsements is required by the California Elections Codes, according to the Secretary of State's office. State officials say they will help the county solve the issue. However, when we first spoke to Mary Bedard, the registrar of voters this week, she claimed the elections department has been running smoothly.
But no, I would not say that the issues that were being raised were even problems, to be perfectly honest. So no, already geared up, all the preliminary work is done. We've got the poll places, we've got poll workers recruited and trained.
Now, with only 4 days until the primary, county officials say it's too close to the race to reprint the voter information guide, and they will now post party endorsements of candidates for voter-nominated offices at every polling place on social media, kernvote.com and kerncounty.com. Tonight, Bedard released a statement saying, quote, "We deeply regret this mistake and are working quickly to resolve the issue. As soon as we confirm the error, we began working on corrective action," end quote. Also, earlier this week, we received a call from a local voter who told 23 ABC News he didn't receive a local voter guide with information pertaining to the local county measures. Tonight, 23 ABC Tori Cooper spoke to that voter who says he's no longer confident in the Kern County voting system. Tori.
Yeah, Frederick Anthony says he only received his state voter guide along with his mail-in ballot, and he was anticipating that he was still going to also receive his local voter guide in time to participate in the local measures here in Kern County. But he said by the time he finally received the local guide, it was too late and he had already voted, missing out on the voting right here in Kern County.
And it only had Proposition 13, had no local issues or measures on it. I called them, the election office here in Bakersfield, I called them, and they were a little confused and why. They told me to come down and pick up a ballot, maybe I can vote again. I called them again. I didn't get any satisfaction results. They said they're going to call me back. No one called me back.
Now, Anthony says the local measures E and D, along with many other issues, are the ones that he truly cared about voting on most because as a resident, he says these are the measures that impact him the most. He also told 23 ABC News he felt the late voter guides are not allowing voters to make a truly informed decision. Now, according to the Secretary of State's office, if you did not make a selection on a paper-based ballot concerning a specific contest in the primary, the local county elections office is supposed to reach out to you to ensure you have ample opportunity to complete your vote. But for now, Anthony tells 23 ABC News no one has contacted him. But we will continue to follow this story as it develops through the week. But for now, live in studio, I'm Tori Cooper for 23 ABC News, connecting you.
Some good reporting there, Tori. The McFarland School District has 6 schools in it, and Measure B has to do with all 3 of them. Broad Road STEAM Academy, Kern Avenue Elementary, and McFarland High School. The principal of the high school telling 23 ABC News his campus is in desperate need of a new multi-purpose room. 23 ABC's Austin Westfall breaks down the measure.
We already have teachers that really strive to provide the best education we can for our community, but at the same time, how can you do that when you don't have the facilities to meet that need?
McFarland High School's multi-purpose room, which was being used for a small assembly yesterday, is also used as the campus's main cafeteria. But the problem with that is it can only sit about 140 students at a time during lunch, a fraction of the school's nearly 1,000-member student body.
When we start the school year out, it's 110, 115 degrees. Students are spread out throughout the campus, and they don't have anywhere really for shade.
Principal Justin Derrick saying it's also problematic when it rains. That's part of why the McFarland Unified School District is asking for $30 million in bonds in the upcoming election, known as Measure B. $16 million of that money would be used to build the new multi-purpose room, which has dining for 1,000 students and can also be used for assemblies. But that's only part of the bond money. Some would also go to Browning Road STEAM Academy, an elementary school.
What we're asking for through Measure B is an opportunity to not just do some patchwork at our school, but to completely renovate so they can have 21st century facilities.
That to match the Academy's 21st century programs, including their Maker's Space Lab with VR technology and Fabrication Lab with 3D printing, which at the time of our visit was constructing a prosthetic arm for a child in Porterville. Principal Diaz saying his school needs to structurally improve their facilities, one of which has been completely condemned due to safety concerns. They also need to completely redo their roofing, something they have in common with Kern Avenue Elementary School, where stain spots were visible on the library's ceiling.
It would mean just a much safer and inviting environment for all our students.
Principal Buhanda Medina saying her school would also repair some of their cement walkways and plumbing. Of course, along with any new bond measure comes concern from some that their taxpayer dollars could be misused. The McFarland Unified School District superintendent saying they can only spend money on the projects at the 3 schools.
None of these dollars can be used for salaries or any other projects.
Austin Westfall, 23 ABC, connecting you.
The $30 million bond would cost property owners $51 per $100,000 of assessed value per year. 55% of voters will have to vote yes in order for it to pass on Tuesday. And 23 ABC wants to help you make an informed decision on Super Tuesday, which is this upcoming Tuesday, and the day California voters go to the polls. We have information on local measures, national and local candidates, along with propositions on our website, turn23.com.
Porterville firefighter Patrick Jones and Captain Ramon Figueroa, you are clear of your duties. May you rest in peace and know that you will forever be in our hearts. We have it from here.
A memorial service in celebration of life took place in Porterville today for the 2 firefighters who lost their lives in the city's library fire 10 days ago. One of those men, Captain Ramon Figueroa, was a native of Delano and had recently moved to Bakersfield. Earlier this week, individual funeral services for both Figueroa and Patrick Jones were held. Reporter Brian Johnson with our ABC affiliate in Fresno has more on today's joint service that united the community of Porterville and welcomed hundreds of firefighters from across the nation to honor 2 of their own.
People in Porterville stopped what they were doing on Friday morning to pay their respects to 2 fallen firefighters. Captain Raymond Figueroa and firefighter Patrick Jones died while fighting a raging fire at the city's library.
It's tragic why we had to come together, but it's a beautiful thing.
The procession ended at Porterville Church of the Nazarene, where hundreds of firefighters from around the country had gathered in formation.
My heart is breaking, but it's so full of pride at the same time to show what the family does. Once you're a first responder, you're a first responder everywhere.
Funerals have already taken place for Jones and Figueroa, but Friday was another opportunity for friends, family, firefighters, and the public to honor and celebrate the lives that were cut too short 10 days ago.
I can only imagine.
As a leader and mentor, Zach Figueroa says his brother was always willing to lend a helping hand or share his expertise.
One friend that said the word lift was an accurate word to describe him because he spent so much of his time lifting up others as well as lifting weights.
Funny how the good ones go.
Mike Waters was Jones's high school principal in Visalia. He reminded the audience that Jones loved his coworkers, family members, and even strangers.
So when the library was on fire and there may be people trapped inside, they weren't just people to Patrick. They were his friends.
Jonesy and Fig were our brothers, and we will see them again.
Porterville firefighter Patrick Jones and Captain Ramon Figueroa, you are clear of your duties. May you rest in peace and know that you will forever be in our hearts. We have it from here.
That was Brian Johnson reporting, and happening next week, the Bakersfield Fire Department is holding a fundraiser for the fallen Porterville firefighters. BFD will be holding a drive-through pancake breakfast and a drive-through taco lunch on Tuesday, March 3rd. The breakfast is from 7 a.m. until 10 a.m. and the lunch will be from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. The meals will be $5 a plate. It will be held at Fire Station 1 in downtown Bakersfield.
High pressure has been the story across the region today. So we actually did break a heat record here in Bakersfield, a high of 83 degrees. The previous record was set back in 1926 at 81, but we were still well above seasonal. And this is actually the second day this week with that record-breaking heat. Now, as we head into the evening hours tonight, still relatively warm, 73 degrees right now here in Bakersfield, 78 in Buttonwillow. But those above seasonal temperatures are slowly going to be pushing off to our east as we wait for a low pressure system that is bringing a big cool down as we head into your Sunday. Some of the coolest temperatures that we have felt in quite some time, but winds are going to be impacting mainly the Kern County mountain passes and down into our desert cities beginning tomorrow, continuing throughout the day on Sunday, up to 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But not only are we going to be seeing those winds, also the chance for rain as well as snow in the mountains. I have more details on what you can expect this weekend coming up next.
Confirmed cases of the coronavirus have topped 83,000 people worldwide, causing more than 2,800 deaths. Fear about the disease has tumbled stock markets around the world, and officials in Washington are facing increased scrutiny about how the U.S. is handling the epidemic. All this as the latest patient in California is in serious condition. Whitney Wild has the latest from Washington.
A California patient fighting the coronavirus at the UC Davis Medical Center is now in serious condition, officials say. The case is particularly troubling for experts who still don't know how this person contracted the virus, indicating what's called community spread. Further, the patient wasn't tested initially, raising concern there could be more unknown cases without a connection to travel or another known patient. The World Health Organization says knowledge of the virus continues to evolve.
This is a new virus. It's certainly challenging us. It's a very infectious virus.
The number of cases in the U.S. increased again Friday, with more than 60 confirmed cases, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Meanwhile, a Health and Human Services employee alleges workers who handled the first evacuees from Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the outbreak, weren't given proper training or protective gear, something officials dispute.
I can say unequivocally that everyone involved with those evacuations was appropriately equipped and trained.
U.S. officials continue to urge calm.
Are you going to see some schools shut down? Probably. May you see impacts on public transportation? Sure, but we do this. We know how to handle this.
President Donald Trump has tasked Vice President Mike Pence with leading the response.
We're going to bring a whole-of-government approach to this.
Around the world, more than 20 vaccines are in the works. Now the race is on to bring crucial medicine to the people who need it most. In Washington, I'm Whitney Wild reporting.